Hi everyone. So I wanted to make a video regarding my weight loss journey. I've never done this before, so please bear with me as I try to get used to not only myself on camera, but just kind of going through this process. I'm more so making this video for people that are out there that are at the beginning of their weight loss journey or in the middle of their weight loss journey. They're feeling a little lost. They don't know what's going to happen, or really anyone that's trying to explore the option of weight loss. We all want to be healthy. We all want to be fit. We all want to look good naked. But there's a couple of different ways to go about doing that. So I've made the decision that I'm going to document the process for me going through my weight loss journey, and hopefully it will reach other people that are kind of questioning what they want to do, and really to help people feel like they're not alone in this process, because a lot of people that go through their journey in weight loss often feel like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do this. This person is skinnier than me, prettier than me, healthier than me, what have you, and I just can't do it. And your mind is going to be the ultimate thing that causes you to lose the battle with weight loss if you allow it to. So I'm hoping that by putting myself out there and just kind of going through everything that I've been through, it'll help inspire other people. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments. So a couple of things that I wanted to go over. The first thing is what I've decided to do for my weight loss. After years and years of unsuccessful diets and yo-yoing and crashing and restriction and trying every kind of diet out there known to man, I've made the decision in my life that I'm going to go through and have weight loss surgery. I haven't really told a lot of people about this yet because a lot of the feedback that I've gotten has been pretty negative from the people that are in my circle. My boyfriend is incredibly supportive, and I have one or two coworkers that are absolutely supportive in my process and everything. But for the most part, there's a lot of stigma around weight loss surgery. The people that I've told that I'm having this done have told me that I'm taking the easy way out, and that if I would just diet and exercise, that the weight would come off and it would stay off if I continue to live that lifestyle. Now, I can tell you that I have been vegan for over a year. It's been about a year and a half, a little more than a year and a half. I've eaten a whole food, plant-based diet, and last year I was actually raw vegan, which means that you eat the majority of your foods are not cooked. You eat raw fruits and vegetables, and that's the basis of your diet. And on top of that, I walked usually about 6 miles a day, did high impact cardio, yoga, and weight training. And guess what? I'm still heavier than I've ever been. A lot of times it boils down to genetics. And I learned a lot about that when I went to a seminar about weight loss surgery. There are two different types of hormones. Actually, there's several hormones in your stomach, but two of them control when you're hungry and when you're satisfied with what you're eating. My body, I found out, produces too much of the hormone that tells me that I'm hungry, and not enough hormone that tells me that I'm satisfied by my food and that I'm satisfied and full. So I go through this cycle where I'm always hungry, always looking for something to eat. I'll eat a full meal, and then shortly after that, I'm hungry again. And I never really feel satisfied with what I'm eating because I don't feel satiated. I don't feel full. So I go through this never-ending cycle of eating, and it's gotten me to where I am today. I'm 29 years old, I'm 5'8", and I currently weigh 300 pounds. When I first started this weight loss process, I was 318 pounds. And last year I did lose a little bit of weight, but I didn't get nearly down to a healthy BMI, not even by a long shot. I think I lost maybe 50 pounds through all the walking, exercise, and the food that I was eating. And that was for a little over a year. Before that, I did a high protein, low carb diet. And before that, I did a diet where I only ate spinach salad and steamed chicken for basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Even then, it didn't happen. I didn't lose a lot of weight. And the thing is that with a diet, you end up gaining a good portion of your weight back and then some once you stop eating that way. So really what I'm trying to do is adapt a lifestyle that I can live with every day, that I can adopt on a day-to-day basis, that isn't necessarily easy, but I know that it's something that I need to do because I've tried everything out there. I've tried every kind of protein shake that there is. I've tried every kind of diet pill and diet program that's out there, and nothing seems to work. So here I am. Again, I'm putting myself out there, just to share my experience of what I've had to do so far. And if you have any questions, like I said, just drop them in the comments and I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. So with most insurance companies, they require that you do a 6-month physician's monitor diet where you have to show some sort of weight loss, even if it's just, 1 pound a month. You have to show some sort of weight loss and you can't gain any weight. So I'm currently about to enter in month 3 of 6, so I'm halfway there. And then after your 6 months and you go through all of your testing that's required by your bariatric doctor, they submit your case to your insurance company for approval. And then the insurance company, once they approve you, you'll get a surgery date to go in and have your procedure done. There's a couple of different weight loss surgeries that are available for you to choose from. One of the very first steps that they have you go through once you meet with your primary care, you get a letter of necessity from your primary care that gives you a referral to the bariatric doctor of your choice. And then you have to go to a weight loss seminar through your bariatric doctor's hospital or medical office. So I went to the seminar for the bariatric surgeon in my area, and it was basically an 1.5 hour long seminar that goes over the different types of weight loss surgery options that there are, as well as any risks, complications, and what to expect with each operation. They had the lap band, vertical, let me see if I'm saying this right, vertical sleeve gastrostomy. It's also known as the sleeve. And then there's also the RNY gastric bypass surgery, which is usually the gold standard of weight loss surgery. It's one of the first that was ever available. And then they have the duodenal switch. Now, I can tell you right off the bat, the duodenal switch and the lap band were two that I didn't even want to know about because I've heard so many complications and horror stories from both of them that I just don't want anything to do with that. With the lap band, you have risk of prolapse and rejection, and you end up having to have the band taken out anyway and then converted to a different weight loss surgery. With the duodenal switch, I've heard of severe malnutrition and malabsorption and people getting very sick and almost dying because of it. So those two were completely off the table. So that left the VSG, or the VGS, I'm sorry, the sleeve, and then the RNY gastric bypass surgery. I know a couple of people in my close circle of friends, they've had the RNY gastric bypass surgery, and then I know one person in my family that's had the sleeve done. Both have come back with really good results with both of them, and the sleeve is very similar to the RNY. So it was kind of a no-brainer to go with that. The RNY is, like I said, it's the gold standard for weight loss surgery. It is one of the first weight loss surgeries that have been available. It has the least amount of complications, and they say that it's the most maximum for weight loss and overall reaching a healthy body mass index. I can tell you that right now at 5'8" and 300 pounds, my BMI, my body mass index, is 43.3, which is not as high as a lot of other patients that have seen my bariatric doctor, according to him, but it is still very high. I'm classified as morbidly obese. I have hypertension, prediabetes, I have high blood pressure, anxiety, heartburn, And there's just a lot of things that I'm not able to do because of my weight. I live in a 2-story home, and it's incredibly difficult to climb the stairs. It's difficult to walk very far without getting out of breath or losing breath or feeling dizzy or what have you. And like I said, there's just a lot of things that I can improve on in my quality of life if I lost the weight. For somebody my height, I should be within 145 and 178 pounds. So I'm over 100 pounds overweight. And because of that, I have a series of different health issues that have gone on. I have hormone issues, reproductive hormone issues, where I have PCOS, which basically means that I have an irregular period. And when I do have my period, it's very long, it's intense, it's very painful. And then you also have pelvic pain intermittently throughout your cycles, whether you're having a period or not. So it's not really a fun experience. I advise anybody who is at a healthy BMI to do everything they can to live a healthy lifestyle so that they stay that way. It is very easy to become this way, and I encourage everyone to go get a full panel blood test at least once every few years. This tells you your hormones, it tells you your vitamins, your minerals, and all of that. And you can have your doctor test to see what hormones you're lacking in your stomach, if any, and try to get those improved without having weight loss surgery. Weight loss surgery for me is kind of a last resort in terms of weight loss because, like I said, I've tried everything else out there. I don't really know what else to do. I've met with doctors, my primary care, bariatric doctors, dietitians, nutritionists, you name it, I've tried. I've absolutely tried. So here I am. I'm going to have this surgery hopefully by February if everything goes well. And so I kind of just wanted to go over what you should expect should you decide to go down this route. The first thing is, like I said, you meet with your primary care. They give you a letter of necessity and they refer you to a bariatric doctor of your choice. It's very important that you all do your research to find out what bariatric doctors are covered under your insurance and what their ratings are in terms of patient care, follow-ups, and all of that. The first place that I was referred to, I tried to choose a doctor that was within my primary care's network, so they were all kind of connected. I found out that they don't take my insurance, so I got referred somewhere else. And that surgeon, I couldn't get on the phone to save my life. I made calls to his office a few times a week, left messages, sent emails through his website. I got a phone call back finally after 3 weeks of trying. They said the first appointment they can get me would be a month and a half to 2 months out. I don't want that kind of doctor working on me. If you don't have time for your patients and you're either so popular or so busy that you don't have time for your patients, then you can't really provide the quality of care that we need when we're going through this process. So finally, after trying and throwing my hands in the air and stomping around and having a little bit of a tantrum, I finally was referred to a great bariatric surgeon in my area. He's actually one of the best in the state that I live in. And I was referred to his weight loss center for the initial consultation. And with the initial consultation does come the seminar that is required both by the insurance and by the weight loss center for you to become a new patient, so they can go over everything and let you know what you're getting yourself into. So I went to that seminar about a month or so ago, and then I just met with the bariatric surgeon last week. He was absolutely amazing, didn't come from a judgmental standpoint, was totally on board with whatever I wanted to do, and said that he would offer advice and suggest things along the way in terms of what procedures to have and what things to do for maximum weight loss and to be successful. So I met with him last Friday, and I walked in there with the mindset of, okay, I want the Roux-en-Y gastric bypass surgery. It is the gold standard. It's got the least amount of complications and the highest amount of weight loss. Well, for somebody like me, being as young as I am, and even though I have certain health issues, I'm not as unhealthy as somebody who is heavier than me with a higher body mass index. So, because of that, the doctor recommended that I go with the sleeve. And he said that at any point throughout the process, I have the right to change that if I want, but his opinion would be to go for the sleeve. So, I'm going with that for right now so that I can get more information. The testing that's involved for both the sleeve and the Roux-en-Y are relatively the same, and the recovery time is relatively the same as well. So after meeting with him, he ordered a bunch of different tests for me to go through, a full blood panel, and then blood work to register what my counts are for minerals, vitamins, B12, and then this other thing, a breathing test, which measures certain bacteria that you have in your digestive system so that he knows whether or not I have ulcers or if I'm prone to ulcers. The other thing is that I am a former smoker. I smoked cigarettes ever since I was probably 12 or 13 years old. And at first it was a couple of cigarettes a day. And of course, anyone knows who has smoked cigarettes on a regular basis. It turns into 4 cigarettes a day, 10 cigarettes a day, a pack and a half a day. I actually just quit 2 months ago. And at that point I was smoking a pack, maybe a pack and a half a day, depending on how busy and how stressed out I was that day. So I actually quit smoking, and that is one thing that if you are wanting to have weight loss surgery, you're going to want to quit smoking well in advance before you have your surgery. A lot of surgeons won't even operate on you if you are currently smoking because you're at a higher risk of infection, and it's just not good overall if you're wanting to get on track and be healthy. So I did quit smoking, and then they had the breath test, the blood panel, which was about 7 vials of blood while fasting. And it's not a fun process if you don't like blood. I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought I was going to pass out in the chair. But I got it done. And then what happens from here is I still have to meet with my primary care doctor over the next 6 months. And then I still have to meet with my bariatric surgeon over the next 6 months. And then on top of that, I meet with a dietitian, a nutritionist. I have to have a psychological evaluation on top of all the tests because, and a lot of people have told me this too, weight loss surgery is more so about the mindset that you go into it with. Because whether you have the Roux-en-Y or the gastric bypass or the duodenal switch or the lap band, you're going to be incredibly restricted by the food that you eat because your stomach is just going to be too small. You're only going to be able to eat a maximum of maybe 1 to 4 ounces of food at a time, which is about a tablespoon or a little bit more than a tablespoon if you're doing up to 4 ounces. At first, you're probably going to be able to just do like a tablespoon of food, and you're going to feel so full that you're probably going to want to pass out. So getting yourself past that mindset is going to be something that you really want to focus on. Join a support group if you haven't already done so. I'm a part of 2 different support groups through social media. You can also join local support groups, and a lot of bariatric centers, once you become a patient with them, will provide you with free support groups that you can attend as many as you want, or they'll give you a number of how many you can attend or what have you. And I find that they're incredibly helpful because they have people that are both new to the process and have already had the surgery, so they can offer advice and things that they've experienced. And they're very, for the most part, open-minded, and you can really talk with them. And it's good to talk with somebody that really understands what you're going through, because you can vent your concerns and your fears and your frustration to your mom and your sister and your best friend and your coworker or whatever, but they're not going to fully understand because they haven't gone through it. So, let's see. So during this process, you want to make sure that you have some sort of support system. What that means, not necessarily for support groups, but you're going to need to make sure that you have somebody there when you have your surgery, and that's going to be able to take a few days off to be home with you to help you out. Post surgery, no matter what surgery you get, you're not going to be able to move around too much. It's going to be rather uncomfortable, and you're not allowed to do any heavy lifting for 6 weeks, usually 6 to 8 weeks. So just be very mindful of that and choose your support system wisely so that they ultimately keep you in check to be the most successful. I'm very fortunate in that my boyfriend is absolutely amazing and has been through this process himself. So he is just my rock and my voice of reason when I feel like giving up. And really just get yourself in the mindset that your entire life is about to change, because it is. My next appointment is in 3 weeks. I have to meet with my primary care and my bariatric surgeon on the same day. They're going to track my weight for the month. And then with my bariatric doctor, they're going to go over my food and exercise log. They gave me that homework assignment. I have to start tracking everything that I eat, as well as the exercise. Sorry, that's getting a little shaky. I have to track my exercise as well. There's a few apps that are really good for that. I use MyFitnessPal because you can use a barcode scanner to scan packaging. You can put in, if you go out to eat at restaurants, you can put in what restaurant you ate at and it'll pull up their menu. And then it tracks your intake of food, but also the nutrients. So it tracks your carbohydrates, your protein, sugars, fats as far as polysaturated, saturated, trans, what have you. They track all your fats, your sodium, your vitamin C, and then it also tracks your macros. So it'll tell you what percentage of what you've eaten throughout the day is carbs, protein, and fat. And you can also log your exercises. So like for instance, this morning I did high impact cardio for 30 minutes. And I put that in there and it told me how many calories I've burned. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. You want to make sure that you get a checklist from your insurance company. They are actually sending me a booklet in the mail and I'm waiting for that to come in. But so far I've gotten everything on their little checklist for my first month's appointment. And then next month they're going to go over my food and exercise log, and they're going to set up my psychological evaluation so that I can meet with a psychiatrist to talk about any issues that I have with food, and they'll give me some sort of recommendations depending on, how all of that goes. And then after that, I have an appointment in October with my bariatric surgeon again, and he is going to go through some different tests, and he's going to want to do an endoscopy where they basically put you out and put a tube down your throat, and a little camera goes into that tube. They check out your stomach, your liver, make sure all of that is good and that you're still a good candidate for surgery, which as long as you follow their meal plan, you should be okay to go through with the surgery. My bariatric doctor has me on a very strict high protein, no carb diet. And what that consists of is a protein shake in the morning that has as little sugar as possible, under 15 grams of sugar, and 20 grams or more of protein. There's a couple of different proteins on the market and they give you a whole sheet of different proteins that they recommend that fit within that plan. And then they want you to typically eat small portions every 2 hours, with stopping eating within 3 hours of your bedtime. And then for lunch, you are allowed 4 ounces of lean protein. And they gave me a list of the different proteins that are suitable for my diet, which ones that I should have sparingly and which ones I should not have at all. So I do have that. And so for lunch, you do 4 ounces of lean protein. And for me, they say I can have unlimited non-starchy vegetables. Everyone's different. I know that there's somebody that's going through this process. They're only allowed 1.5 cups of vegetables with each meal, and that includes salads. So it teaches you really to be mindful of what you're eating. And then for lunch, or for dinner, I'm sorry, the same thing. 4 ounces of lean protein, and then vegetables. And then you don't eat within 3 hours of your bedtime. So that's kind of where I'm at with that, and it seems to be working so far. I will tell you sorry, my dog just sneezed. I will tell you that the first couple of weeks will be the hardest that you have to go through, because you're so used to eating what you want, when you want, and however much you want, that it's really just, like I said, going to be a mindset that you have to tell yourself that you're going to do this, that you're worth doing this for, and just make it happen. Reach out to your support groups when you're feeling that temptation. Reach out to your support groups to celebrate all of your successes, and just do what your surgeon tells you to do. Because what really will suck is if you go through this entire 6-month process and you missed one little step because you wanted to do this, that, or whatever, and then the insurance throws out your case. So make sure you do whatever they tell you to do, and just keep moving forward. You've made this decision for a reason. I know that I made this decision because I'm out of options and I want to live a healthy life, and I just can't do it on my own. I'm not afraid to say that I cannot do this on my own. So here I am, sharing all of this with you. And again, I apologize for the poor video sound quality, what have you. And I'm pretty sure I've rambled through this whole thing. Again, I apologize. I'm a little bit nervous. I've never done this before in my life. But I just wanted to share with you how my journey's been so far. And if you have any comments, feel free to write them below. All I ask is that you be gentle. There's so much hate out there on people that are going through this process. And there's so many, what I like to call keyboard thugs, that like to talk a lot of crap over the keyboard, because they know that they're not in person, and they'll just say whatever they want to cut a person down. Please be gentle, please be kind, and know that we're all on our own journey, and it's not up to you to judge any person that's going through this process. So stay tuned. I'll have a lot more information coming your way. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.